to make it happen. Hey, everybody. Hope you're all able to hear and see me okay. Let me know if you can or cannot. All looks good on my end. Fingers crossed. I'm going to mute myself because I can see myself. So everything looks good on my screen. Hopefully everything looks good on your screen. Oh my gosh. I can hear myself over here. I'm going to turn this down. So I came in I tried to come in a little bit early, but the live stream doesn't actually kick in until it's scheduled. So now I'll just kind of take a few seconds to kind of get the stream. I see it's a little glitchy. I'm going to move to my direct connection. There might have been a little bit of Wi-Fi trying to kick in there. That wasn't very successful. So, okay, everyone, if you can hear and see me okay, please say in the comments that you can hear and see me okay. That would be awesome. And then that way I know that we're off to the races. And that, oh, good. Okay, so Carrie says all good here. Hello, Carrie. And also, how about say where you're tuning in from, because that's lots of fun as well. And thank you to everybody who is tuning in right now and who is here for this training, because it's going to be really fun. I say training sounds very formal, but I don't really know what else to call it because, you know, it's kind of a chat. It's me sharing some info. It's sharing some advice, some tips. So I need to come up with a fun word that sounds the best, because training to me sounds very stiff. You know, I always think of it as like when I used to work in my previous career that wasn't creative, when I had a training, it was kind of like, oh, no, not a training. So not another training. So I'm trying to think of a more fun way to talk about it. Good. Everyone can see and hear me okay. So that is great news. Wow. This is my first live in a while. Kind of took the summer off, not off, but like off from doing live things like this. Took kind of a step back, was relaxing more. And I'm really excited to be back because, you know, the summer is a really busy time for everybody. So I tend to not do many live trainings in the summer because I know a lot of people take time off work. And now I'm just here, hanging out and chatting with you folks, which I'm really excited about because I really enjoy these kinds of live get-togethers. They're a lot of fun. So what we're talking about today is how to shake up your Instagram with engaging and meaningful images. So Instagram is a hot place to be right now. You all must know that, right? You get the feeling that Instagram, I mean, it's always been really popular, but it's really on fire lately. And there's a lot of shift towards it being a focus on a place to sell products. There's the shop feature now, and there's a lot of supports for businesses and things like that. So, we have people tuning in from all over the place. We have the UK, Georgia, I see a few different places in the UK, Portugal, Montreal, Sudbury, Ontario, Hungary. Hello, everybody. Florida. Thank you for tuning in from far and wide. That's lovely. Very exciting. Now, so yeah, Instagram, very popular right now. Of course, Reels is really hot, and I am going to mention Reels at the end, but I know that a lot of you that's not your comfort zone. And even though there's obviously a ton of potential with Reels right now, there's also still a place for people who maybe aren't super into the idea of doing Reels or are working their way up to it. Or maybe you do like doing Reels, but you want to also share photos and be able to make your Instagram just a little bit more interesting and engaging for people. So tell me in the comments, you can just kind of raise your hand, drop an emoji, say yes or whatever. Do you feel like your engagement on Instagram could be better? So that means like, are you getting enough likes, comments, or do you kind of post things and you just hear crickets? Let me know in the comments what you are feeling about Instagram right now in terms of engagement. Now, I will say that I definitely can resonate with the feeling of that crickets of posting something and not getting anything back. I remember a time it feels like a long time ago now, but it was before I started kind of this iteration of my business when I was really mostly just doing photography, and I would post things on Instagram, and I was mostly posting portfolio photos. So photos that I took for clients or photos that I took of somebody's wedding or different things like that. Photos I took of products, of course, and brands and things like that. So it was mostly talking about my work. It's so similar to product-based sellers who mostly may feel compelled to only share photos of their products. I was really only sharing photos of my portfolio work, so work that I was doing for other people. What I was missing was sharing those kinds of photos that made people want to connect with me. And those are the kinds of photos that make people comment, like, engage. And then, of course, the way algorithms work is the more somebody does engage with your content by liking it, saving it, sharing it, commenting on it, the more Instagram perks up and goes, oh, well, this is obviously an interesting post. People are interacting with this, so we'll show it to more people. So the more that you can share, the better for your engagement and for your reach and for your growth and all of those wonderful things that go along with being on Instagram. And not only that, but the more you connect with people on Instagram, the more you build relationships with your ideal customers on Instagram, the more easy it is to sell on these types of channels, like to sell, to promote your work. And you can do that in a way that feels less salesy. It doesn't feel yucky. It doesn't feel like, you're like a used car salesman just trying to like get your wares out there. It feels more connective, like people are looking forward to that new product launch and are kind of lining up to see what the new product is going to be. And those are the kinds of relationships you want to cultivate on Instagram. And that's where the magic of Instagram really is for businesses, is being able to kind of make almost like friendships and connections with people and talk to people. Because as small business, I mentioned this a lot in the last few days, so if you've been tuning in, you've probably heard me talk about this already, but connecting with our customers or our clients or the people who buy things from us, that is our biggest advantage as a small business. That's what big business can't do. Big business tries to emulate that by having the CEO kind of be the face of the company and maybe like sharing their favorite book picks, if you're in Canada, we have a book chain called Chapters, and like there's Heather's picks, and Heather is the CEO. And so, they kind of try to make it seem like there's that person that's the face of the company, but it's not that connection feeling that somebody would feel from a small business that makes them really want to like cheerleader them and support them and tell their friends about them and buy gifts for their friends for them and buy things for themselves and share the new things that are coming out. And that kind of advantage is what small business has over those big box stores that allows us to thrive and make a living and all of those wonderful things. If you have kind of like a bricks and mortar store in a location, then you probably have the support of local people. If you go to local craft fairs, you probably have people come by. But what about online business? Especially with the pandemic, we've all realized the value in online business, online almost everything, because I honestly, I don't think that's going away anytime soon, no matter what happens in the future. I think that online shopping is something that has really moved to the forefront for a lot of people. So strengthening your online presence is very important. And the way we can make those connections with customers, like you would with a local business online, is by sharing meaningful photos that are personal to you. And then that way you can also share photos about your business and your products, and people will find those more interesting and more compelling because they know you. If you think about it, if you're on Instagram and you have a friend who posts about a new piece of artwork they made, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, yes, that's beautiful. But if it's just some stranger or just some company that's like, look at this nice wall art, you're going to be like, well, that's fine, and scroll on by. So it's really, really valuable to connect with people. And if you're not, then there's a huge missed opportunity there. So what we're talking about today is I'm going to share a lot of photo ideas that will help you connect better with your customers, potential customers on social media platforms like Instagram. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen, And this is I have some slides and some photo examples that I'm going to share. So I'm going to get those up on the screen. One moment. There's going to be like an awkward transition here whilst I get this sorted out. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go. Sharing. And then I'll go to full screen so you can see the whole thing. I'm going to just give it just a sec. I'm keeping an eye on my screen over here to make sure that you can see what I'm seeing. So I'm not just talking for no reason. So I would love to hear from you in the comments. Yes or no, do you feel like you are mostly sharing just photos of your products right now? Yes or no, true or false? Are you just sharing mostly product photos now? And I will say to that there's nothing wrong with sharing product photos, and you absolutely should share your product photos and you should talk about your business. And I think sometimes small business owners tend to, on social media, swing a little bit too far in thinking like, well, maybe people are really into hearing about me and now they don't want to hear about my business. So now I don't want to talk about my business. Absolutely talk about your business. It is so crucial, and people do want to hear about your business and your products, but there's a balance there. There's still that connection piece that you want to be prioritizing on platforms like Instagram. All right, so I'm seeing a lot of yes. So a lot of you are sharing mostly product photos, and there is still a place for those in your feed. So don't feel like you need to stop doing that. But what we're going to talk about today is the types of photos you can add into your regular posting schedule to encourage more engagement, to connect with people better. And I really want you to think about how you can do this in a genuine way. Now, talking from my perspective, like I mentioned a long time ago, posting just my portfolio photos, I remember that feeling of thinking, I think I need to share more personal stuff, but I'm really not super comfortable because I was and am an introverted person. I didn't think anyone cared about my life. I felt like it would be kind of vain of me to share things, like as if people would care about what was going on with me. That maybe it would seem kind of self-centered, and it was an uncomfortable feeling for me to put myself out there. Now, this was over 5 years ago, and you all are here watching this now. So you know that I've clearly found a way to come out of my shell because I post about all kinds of stuff to do with myself, especially on my Instagram, from everything from my mental health to what's going on in my business. And through that, I have found a really beautiful community that my business exists with. And I feel genuinely interested in the people who are following me, and it is like caring about people in real life. Like it's similar. I look forward to hearing from people. I recognize your name if you engage a lot, and it feels like something that is real, and it does feel genuine. So I do encourage you to think of it, yes, of course, from a strategic point of view, to try to perform better on the platform, to reach more people, to grow your following, because that is how you connect with more people and are more successful in business. But also think of it in a genuine sense of really making some new internet friends and expanding your network and your reach socially, and not just for the purpose of being successful in business, but because it makes business feel better. It makes it more interesting. It makes it more fulfilling. It's worth it. So it is worth it to kind of take those extra steps and include some of these extra things. All right. Now I have quite a few examples, so we're going to just go through them. Okay. So the title of this is 5 ways to shake up your Instagram with more meaningful and engaging images. So way number 1 is to stop treating your Instagram like a catalog. So this is when every time you post a product, and maybe it's like new rose face cream now in the Etsy shop. And like, that's your only caption. So that's basically it's a catalog. You're just sharing a photo of your thing, telling people where they can buy it. So there's not that opportunity for engagement there. And there's no personal connection. And those are the kinds of posts that people will not really engage in because there's nothing to engage with. They're just kind of like, okay, that's nice. And then they roll on through if they even see it, because there's probably not enough engagement for that reach to get very far. So I do really, really recommend to not treat it like a catalog. And what you'll find is it'll get easier as time goes on. The more you get used to talking to people, like if you post a photo and your caption is more conversational, more like, hey friends, how are you today? This is what I've been up to, whatever. However you want to write your captions, that's not necessarily my expertise, but I do recommend keeping it more conversational, like you're talking with a friend, as opposed to just like, here's this product, whatever. There's a lot of different ways you can share information about your products in a more casual and relationship building type of way, but avoid just the straight up, like, this is my product, this is what it does. So we're gonna all agree and vow right here and right now, okay, that we will no longer treat Instagram like a catalog. I want everyone in the comments to say, I will. Or yes, that we are making a commitment to shake things up and no longer will Instagram be our catalog. I mean, listen, there's a shop tab that is a catalog. That's where your catalog can be on Instagram. But the posts that you make on a daily basis should be a little bit more interactive. All right. Whoop. Skipped one. So posting product photo after product photo quickly makes followers tune you out. So they'll just be like, oh, another product, scroll on by. Social media is all about being social. So the algorithms are set up for that exact reason, because they want to favor social interaction over anything else. The platform's main responsibility is to keep people there longer so that they can make more ad dollars. So they know that by making it a social type of interaction, people will stay there longer and people will spend more hours on the platform day after day. So they are favoring social interaction over any other kinds of things. So the algorithm really is favoring comments, likes, shares, and saves. There's talk about which order those are more important in. And honestly, I don't think there is an order. They just want people to be interested. All right. So number two, way number two, share photos. This is where we get into really the nitty gritty of what kinds of photos you can share. So share photos of things that inspire your creativity. Oh, I had a photo that's not here anymore. Oh, here it is. I skipped a photo. Here we go. So here's something that I just wanted you to see. This is kind of a little snippet of your 9-grid Instagram feed. So like one snapshot of somebody's Instagram where they only post product photos. So as you can see, it looks nice. I mean, it's aesthetically pleasing to the eye. The photos are nice, but it's just kind of boring. Like it just reads like a kind of like you would expect more of a corporate store to share their products, and maybe like Anthropologie or like, I don't know, Bath and Body Works or the Body Shop or whatever, different stores like that would just share photos of their products and that's it. So it doesn't, which is not our strength as small business. This is not something that we can compete with. You can't compete with them on their playing field, but you can on your own, which is where that social piece comes into play. I'm going to keep an eye on the comments over here. If you guys have questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. I'm going to try to keep track and answer them as I go, but if not, we will absolutely have time for some questions at the end. So feel free to go ahead and ask them. So I see a lot of people saying, yes, they are willing to mix it up, which I'm very happy to see. Joe is struggling with the cheesiness of it all. Now, let me say this also, that you don't have to just do what you see other people doing. You can do things that feel right for you. So if you see people like doing reels and they're like dancing and they're pointing at text, and you think to yourself, that is so not for me, then you absolutely do not have to do that. And don't listen to all these things that are saying, this is the way, this is how you're going to be successful on Instagram. There's a lot of ways to be successful on Instagram, and dancing at pointing at text is not the only one. I am right now diving headfirst into a strategy where I do a lot of reels, but dancing and pointing at text does not feel authentic and natural to me. I will not be doing that. So you can find a way to make it work for you in a way that feels good to you. You can share photos that feel good to you. You can share videos that feel good to you, that feel right for you as a person, that feel authentic to yourself, and that make sense for your business without having to kind of go down the road that you feel is uncomfortable and cheesy for you. All right, so we see here, pretty feed, but not very personal. There's no connection. It's just kind of like, that's nice. All right, let's move on. Just having this is being very slow. Okay, here we go. So we're going to share photos of things that inspire your creativity. So here's some examples of some photos that you could share in your feed that would be more interesting. You can share photos of places you've traveled to. This is a great opportunity to talk about yourself, talk about your travels, and ask your followers or people who will see your post, what's your favorite place you've ever traveled to? I think conversation is really important. Again, I'm not an expert at the captions, and this video is about photos that you can take for your Instagram, but it cannot be underestimated the power of the caption and how kind of keeping that conversation going can be great. You could post a photo and just say, recent photo from my trip to Italy, loved it. And you might get someone being like, oh, that's really nice. But if you say, recent trip to Italy, loved this trip. Have you ever been to Italy? Or where do you love to travel? Or what's your most memorable travel experience? Then you've got people commenting and engaging in that conversation. So that is really, really important. But sharing places that you've traveled to, things that inspired you on this trip, maybe the architecture in Italy inspired something that you made that you're selling, or maybe it helped you realize how important this type of, on the plane, you made like a face mist from your body care line because of that trip or whatever. You can still tie your business in, and you can still, but you're giving people kind of more of that behind the scenes glimpse into your process, things that are important to you, your experiences. And that's creating a deeper connection with those types of people. So feeling authentic is the struggle, Jean says, and yes, I totally understand that. Heidi said, I just did my first reel the other day. Dancing and pointing is not comfortable for me either. And totally acceptable. I understand, because it is not for me either. I actually really enjoy watching people do that for the most part. I mean, some of them are really fast and I can't read all the text, but I enjoy consuming those types of reels if I can tell that it's right for the person, if that makes sense. If it feels like that person is like rocking it and they're super comfortable with that style, I love it. But there's some people who do it and I'm just like, this is not this. I can see that you're not comfortable right now. And then it doesn't feel comfortable for me to watch. It feels a little bit more cringy. So I personally will not be participating in those kinds of reels because I would be like the cringy lady who nobody wants to see. And Diana asked, how do you create good quality videos? Very similar to the way you create great quality photos. Awesome lighting, decent camera, and knowing how to use it. I mean, it can also be your smartphone, but knowing how to use it. And those are really the main things. There's a few other nuances, but taking high quality video is very similar to a lot of the things that you learn when you take great photos. Very similar. All right. So another thing that you might, here we go. Oh, is this dark? There we go. It was like selected strangely. Nature. So I get a ton of inspiration from nature. A lot of my photos are related to nature now that I mostly do more fine art type work. And so this may be something that really is part of your creative process. You may make things that are inspired by nature in terms of patterns or just vibe, characteristics, anything like that. And these are opportunities for you to take photos when you're out in nature, on a nature walk or on a hike or at the beach or wherever, that are connected to your business and your products. You can share those photos and you can talk about how nature inspires your work. You don't have to tie every post into your business either. You can just straight up be like, had a great hike today, got this great, there was this beautiful view, and then share a photo of your view. And, do you like hiking too, or whatever? And those are ways that you can really share some of your inspiration without necessarily talking about your business. But by all means, you can also tie it into your business and say, this is where my love for my jewelry line comes from. Nature's really important to me. I'm really inspired by the bark and the trees. And I tie that into my work. And then that way you're really expanding on people's understanding and perception of the things that you make. It has a deeper meaning to them now. It makes more sense to them now. If you then tomorrow post a photo of a ring that you made that is kind of like a bark kind of exterior or something like that, or like a twig, then you can say, here's a, and then the person who saw your post the previous day and knows that you're inspired by nature, that piece means more to them now, and it makes more sense to them now. It might have been just a beautiful piece before, but now there's a connection. Oh, I know where that inspiration came from because I had that conversation with the maker, and that is really powerful, especially if your ideal customers are also really inspired by nature. That connection there might make them way more likely will make them a lot more compelled to make that purchase because you share that connection, and that is really special. Shayna says, just want you to know that white and whites is my go-to for most things. Thank you. I am really glad that you enjoy that because I also enjoy it. She is referring to my Lightroom presets. I have a set of Lightroom presets that take care of a lot of the kind of editing pieces that you have to do when it comes to products. So I'm very glad that you enjoy them. I really love them too, if I'm being honest. All right, now, next, patterns. So you might be really inspired by patterns that you see when you're out on your walk around the city, or when you have traveled somewhere, or if you are sitting poolside, or you're at the beach, or wherever. There's amazing patterns everywhere in nature, in architecture, in shops, in everything, in the texture of the cement you walk down on the sidewalk, the leaves on the trees. There's patterns everywhere, and they very well might inspire your creative work. Take a snapshot of that and share that on your Instagram and talk about that. That is a really powerful way to, again, share with people what guides your creativity and what guides you creating the things that you sell, and deepen that connection. All right. Architecture. So very similar to the patterns, you may find certain lines in architecture, maybe in the city where you live, that inspire a piece of jewelry that you make, or a piece of an artwork that you make, or something like that. It may very well guide your creativity in some way as well. So if there's any kinds of pieces of buildings around that inspire you, even if it's just like the area of the city that you love that's really vibrant and interesting, and you find that comes to mind when you're creating, you can take photos like that and share it on your feed as well. Colors. I mean, a lot of us are big with colors. A lot of us are creating with colors. So feel free to share color palettes that you love, something that caught your eye, that made you think, oh, it would be really cool to make a scarf in these colors, or to make a bag in these colors, or whatever, or just inspired you to do more colorful work. Or if you feel like it's a really good fit for your brand because your brand is really comfortable or colorful, then share those photos and talk about that and share those things, because now you're breaking up your feed from the monotony of product photo after product photo and injecting some of these, not behind the scenes technically, but your thought process behind the scenes, which kind of lets people in on your process. And that's really special. So some more ideas of things that may inspire your creativity is aesthetics that you love. If you really love like an elegant aesthetic, maybe you're going to share some photos that embrace that. Images that depict a book, music, or TV or movie genre you love. Maybe you're like super into horror slasher films, so you're going to share some photos that really kind of connect with that, and you can talk about that. If there's certain interior design elements that you really love that also inspire your creativity, share photos like that. There's just a few more ideas. Hopefully it will help trigger some of your own ideas for things that you could share for your business. So did that give you any ideas for more things that you may be able to share? We're just getting started, so buckle up, but I hope that has your wheels turning. Okay, so 3, share photos of things that are important and meaningful to you. So this is where we're getting a little bit into the more personal now. What things are important and meaningful to you? So for me, these are photos of me and my family. Not everyone is comfortable sharing photos of their family online, which is fine. You don't have to. But if you are, then it is a great way to connect with people. I know a lot of my students and people who buy things from me and who I connect with on social media have families, have kids. are in a similar maybe stage of life to me, or have been in this similar stage, so they can relate to it. It's just another way for us to connect and relate to one another. So sharing kind of photos of your family, if you're comfortable with that, is a great way to connect with people. There's really nothing more connective than family for a lot of people. So I think that's a great way. Also, pets. Who doesn't love pets? Okay. Like if I post a photo of my dog and people unfollow me, I'm like, that's great. Because if you don't like dogs, I don't even understand what's happening, or pets in general. So this is not my dog, although he's very cute. And I wish that he was my dog. My dog is very cute and very photogenic, but I couldn't find any photos of him right away, easily accessible. So this is the dog I chose from the stock photos. He's very cute. I love him. But again, like everyone connects over their pets. If you are a pet person, you want to see other people's pets. If you're an animal person, you want to see photos of people's pets. I will look at pet photos all day long. And from businesses that I follow, from people I follow, whatever, I would love to hear about your pets. And if you ask me about my pet, I'm commenting, because everyone loves to talk about their pets. So yes, that is a great way to share more about yourself, give people kind of an idea of kind of what's going on behind the business with your life and your kind of family, because dogs are family too, cats are family too, pets are family too. And that's just a really good way to connect with people who are like-minded in that way. All right, Savannah is very pumped for posting now. That makes me very happy to hear. Let's keep going because there's lots more. Really wish that this would scroll better. There we go. So you can share photos of your friendships and people who support your business and cheerlead your business. That's really, really valuable. And those people are just so important to a person's success. That kind of support, the support of friends or family, can be huge. And share photos of your friend and say how much you appreciate their support, and ask your followers who supports your business, who's cheerleading you in your business. And maybe you can share photos of your friends wearing your products, if you have wearable products, or using them, or whatever, or say that your friend is your favorite tester for your body cream that you make. And so you can still tie it into your products and your business if you want, but also you're letting people in on a little bit about your life and a little bit of behind the scenes, and gives you an opportunity to shout out those people who support you endlessly. So Jana said, people love my funny story videos of my chickens, yet my art consultant tells me not to share them. I don't think I'd agree with your art consultant. Here's the thing. I just don't think that the only time that I think you shouldn't share something is if it's going to alienate people who you would otherwise want to be your customers. So an example of this could be, like, your religion might be really important to you. Let's say you're really spiritual, it's really, really important to you, but maybe not all of your customers feel the same way. And because religion is kind of a touchy subject, you could lose followers by posting about your religion. Now, if you only want to sell let's say you sell like something that is for your religion and your spirituality, like that, like your ideal customer is obviously going to resonate with those kinds of posts, then yes, post them. But those are polarizing type things. And if you kind of would like to be open to all religions and spiritualities, maybe don't post about that a whole lot, because that could be something that would drive away people you would otherwise want to be in your customer circle. If you don't want people in your customer circle, it's okay to post those things, but no one's going to be alienated by cute videos of chickens. And if they are, I feel like I would not want those people to be my customers, if I'm being honest, because if someone's going to look at a cute video of chickens and be like, oh my God, gross, and then that's just not my person. Like, that's just not this is not my people, because I think that sounds amazing. And I have a student who, asked once, like, I like to share photos of my goats, but I don't know if I should. I don't know if anybody's interested in my goats. And I was like, people are absolutely 100% interested in your goats. Most people are interested in goats, but especially because her brand was kind of like a Western vibe. She had like turquoise and belt buckles and things like that. So yeah, people are going to love photos of goats. So, I mean, I think that it's more important to keep an eye on your follower count, your analytics. If you post about your chickens and all of your analytics just take a nosedive and people unfollow you, which I feel like would be really unlikely, then yeah, maybe don't post the photos of your chickens. But otherwise, yes, please do. The more that you can share about things that are important to you, the better. And I know several very popular artists on Instagram who do post things about their behind the scenes and their life that aren't connected to their art, but that really resonate with the people who are following them. Because I mean, art is very personal. Creativity is very personal. If somebody wants art without the person, without the artist connected to it in some emotional way, then why wouldn't they just go to like Walmart or Target and buy some mass-produced piece of art? If somebody's buying art from a person, it's because they want to support that artist. They want something unique and they want something that's special and more one of a kind. And that connection with the creator of that is important. So share that stuff about you, my opinion anyway. Yeah, so Marlene, absolutely. Friendships is a great idea. Not everybody has kids or pets or whatever, but there's probably someone in your life who you could share a photo of who are big supporters of you. And I love seeing it because it just warms my heart. So to me, I love it and I'd love to see more of it for sure. All right, so number 4, behind the scenes and works in progress. So this is even more personal still to your work. So now we're kind of shifting and we're talking about your work more. So you can share photos of your workspace. So it could be your studio, it could be your office where you do your kind of computer work, your online work. It could be anywhere, really, anywhere where you do your work. You can also share kind of more photos of like your tools that you use or your materials that you use. Doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, I know some people, a lot of people tell me when I say this, that their workspace is a mess. Probably going to get a comment about it even. They say that their workspace is too messy to share a photo of, but I bet you could share a snippet of your desktop with some of your favorite tools in it, or you're organized. Maybe you have one shelf that's really organized with different types of fabric or different materials you use to create your stuff. And that you can share because that, and especially if they're like colorful or fun or anything, and it's a way to connect with people and it adds more diversity to your feed, which can be really amazing. Jana asks, in feed or in stories only, I need to keep the feed looking like a portfolio. So no, you don't need to keep your feed. This is a great question, by the way. And I'm really glad you asked this because I realized I didn't include it in the presentation, but I wanted to talk about it. So absolutely, you can post anything to stories because it goes away. That's where I post all kind of my ugly photos, my photos that I wouldn't ordinarily want in my feed. But your feed does not have to read like a portfolio. That is the same idea as it reading like a catalog. This is your opportunity to include photos that are more diverse, that show more behind the scenes, that are more connective with people. Those are the kinds of photos that are going to more expand your reach and is going to help you find new followers and things like that. And that can be really valuable, and to connect with existing customers. Now, when it comes to photos in your feed, they should look great. They need to be high quality. So they need to be in keeping with the same quality as your product photos or the photos of your art. They're going to speak to the quality of your business the same way your product photos do. So you do want them to be high quality, which means that they're well lit and they're edited tastefully and all of those things that go along with having great photos of your products. So, and it should be a fit for your brand. So your feed doesn't have to be 100% cohesive. You shouldn't, focus on so hard on having a perfectly aesthetic, cohesive feed at the sacrifice of posting things. Definitely post things. And if it's not a perfect fit, then just roll with it. But try to keep a similar vibe and a similar look and post these kind of personal photos. Now, at the end of this, I have another 9 grid square that's of the same business, hypothetical business that I posted with the body care in the beginning that incorporate more of these photos. And you'll kind of see what I mean, how it can look really fantastic and professional still, but with injecting some of those more personal elements in with it. Great question. Thank you for asking. So Heidi says that she posts a lot of work in progress and behind the scenes stuff. That's great. People love it. Seeing products come to life is like the most exciting thing for somebody who buys handmade, especially if they get to buy the thing that they saw being made on the internet. That is very cool. And that is the kind of experience that only small business handmade makers can actually do. So that is your very special gift to put forth into the world that makes you unique and special as a business. So definitely keep that up for sure. Love it. Okay, so you can share packages ready to be shipped. And I've seen this quite a bit and I love it. And I want to keep seeing it. A stack of packages by the door, or especially if you just kind of had like a sale or a big promotion or you've released a new product line and a bunch of your customers have bought it, you can post a photo of your packages ready to be shipped and say, thank you so much. Your package is in this pile, it's on its way. And again, that's making people feel more connected and get a sense of that small business feel. And it's really, really cool as a consumer to see that kind of stuff. All right, works in progress. So again, everybody loves a works in progress. You can share different stages of a product being made. Like on the left here, we have a shirt or something like that that's being sewn. It's partway through, so you can share that. You can share photos of your hands actually creating the thing. You can share carousel photos of it going through different stages, so you can actually swipe to see it come together and being made. That is very cool. You could even take those photos that you've taken throughout the life of creating this product and put it in a little quick slideshow, and there you have a reel that you didn't even have to be in. So there's a reel idea. And honestly, there are so many fun reels for products. I'm a little jealous I don't have products, because there's some really cool and fun stuff that's being done with products in reels right now that doesn't include the cheesy with the pointing and the dancing. So get your browse on and see if you can find any. All right, number 5, photos of you. Who has been dreading me saying this whole time? Because I know that there's a lot of resistance when it comes to sharing photos of you. So let's carry on. So first of all, you can share photos of you in your studio, making something, planning something, starting your day, what you do to get started before you start working, whether it's lighting a candle or putting on a playlist or posting inspiration on the wall or working on your vision board or whatever it is that you're doing. Photos of you in your studio or your workspace is a lot of fun to share. Casual and fun photos, so photos of you relaxing or in a garden or laughing or out doing something. And again, these are ones that need to feel natural to you. If they feel cheesy to you, don't do it. But there are a lot of ways, and this is a really hard one to pull off, because I feel like it often requires a photographer who knows what they're doing to make these photos look great. But you can practice and you can take photos that look natural like this. I see a lot of you were cringing when I was leading up to this taking photos of yourself thing. Bear with me. And trust me when I say that these photos get the most interaction. When I post a photo of myself, it gets more interaction than anything else, especially if it's a photo of me with my kids or me with my dog, because you're kind of incorporating a bunch of different things in there. So now you're seeing things that are important to me or things that inspire me. Like if it's me at the, a place that I talk about how, my forest or whatever, those kinds of things get a lot of interaction because it's me, it's personal, and there's a context for it. And that just really generates a lot of engagement. So don't dismiss it yet. All right, on your adventures. So if you are out at the beach, or you have gone to a waterfall, or you've taken a day trip somewhere, or maybe you went to a new city or whatever, take those photos and share those photos, and talk about your experiences and share where you've been and what you found to be inspiring, or what maybe went wrong, a funny story or something like that. Because again, that is making you connect with people. It's making you're building relationships with people. You're being relatable. You're sharing a wider picture of who you are as a creative business owner, and you're deepening those feelings with followers and customers who are going to make them more likely to want to buy. Now, bonus, if you're wearing one of your products in these shots, let's say this person who is overseeing kind of like the city building or whatever has a backpack on, maybe you made that backpack, and now you can talk about how comfortable it was to walk around in that city all day. And then you're kind of making a bridge between not just you, yourself and your experiences, but also getting a chance to inject a little bit about your product in there as well. All right. Your loves. So you can share photos of you with the things that you love the most, your friends, your pets, your family, your farm, your city that you love, your whatever, things that are meaningful to you, that you feel like you have a deep connection with. You can share those photos with them. And these are very personal photos. Not everyone will feel comfortable with this level of kind of revealing yourself. And it's okay. You don't have to necessarily put these things out there, but it's a way to connect with people. People connect the deepest with someone through the things that mean the most to them. So if you are comfortable, if you think you could be comfortable in this way, sharing that with people, then that is a very strong connective experience for people who are getting to know you as a small business owner. And of course, last but not least, your brand portraits. These are probably the least threatening of all the things that I just said, right? Maybe the ones of you in your workspace, which are kind of similar. And there's a time and a place for both of them. So brand portraits are just your kind of like upper body. We're not going to use the word headshots, because whenever I hear headshots, I think of like kind of a white background, very corporate, very boring, very uninteresting. But, you know, a photo that looks like you look comfortable, you look natural, you're smiling, the lighting is great. And it's just a really nice photo of you. So that is your brand portrait. All right. So remember the feed. We saw this feed earlier, looked super boring, looked nice. I mean, aesthetically, it's all there, but boring, right? It's not very interesting. Now let's incorporate some of what we've just talked about and look at this kind of new modified feed for this hypothetical business. Isn't this so much more interesting? I mean, the aesthetic is the same. It still looks super professional and polished, but we're seeing some injections of personality and stories in here. It's not just products. It's products, and I'm a business owner, and I'm multidimensional, and there are things that mean to me, and I've had experiences that lead to what I do. And now I can talk about this in a deeper and more meaningful way with people, and people feel more connected to you and your products because they have a greater context for it, and they understand your motivation for why you make skincare products. Maybe the natural, and maybe you are going to talk about how it's kind of changed your life by switching to more natural stuff, or whatever, how on your trip to Italy, you had a rash and you used your cream and it worked, or whatever. So these can be simply, here's a picture of my cute dog who also has a cute dog, and get to know people that way, because people will remember that. And remember that the next time you post a product, that you had that shared experience. But it can also be ways for you to talk about your products and your business in a way that feels natural and authentic, while also sharing things about you that make people feel more connected to you. And does it not look better? Tell me in the comments right now how much better this feed looks, because I love it. I think it's really nice. I wish my feed looked like that. Starting with that cute dog that I want to bring home. I have one dog and he's wonderful, but I feel like I need at least one or two more. All right. So Sasha said, I do wood turning. Should I add clips of me on the lathe? Yes, please. A reel would be very cool with that. I'm really reels minded right now, so apologies, but you could have a clip of you doing the lathe, you sitting at it, doing the work, close up of the lathe and what's being created, and then a bit of a thing at the end, kind of what you're showing, what actually happened. And you can do the same thing with photos. If you don't love the video thing, you can have a photo of you at the lathe. You can do a carousel, because those are also can encourage more engagement, because people will swipe them. They show up more often in people's feeds, because each photo will show up in the feed instead of kind of just one photo once. So you could have a photo of you at the lathe, you could have a close-up of you actually doing the work, and then you could have a photo of the kind of end product in a carousel, which would also be super cool. All right, so everybody's feeling better about this one. So I'm just going to click through here. Now, a couple more ideas. So I have a slew of more ideas. I'm just going to kind of throw at you rapid fire that might trigger some ideas. By the way, this video is going to be on replay, so if you need to walk back through some of it, it'll be available to you. So you can show photos of your products in use. You can share customer photos. So if you have permission from your customers to share a photo of something that you made, like maybe you made a piece of furniture and it's their home, or a scarf or a bag or jewelry or a piece of artwork or whatever, if it's in their home, and they share a photo of it, you can ask if you can share that photo as well, especially if it's a good fit. It's like if it's a nice photo and it fits in your feed, that's a really, really awesome opportunity to share what we call social proof, which is basically evidence that someone else has bought something from you and is happy about it. So that's just kind of social proof that you have done that. So that's very cool. You can share customer reviews. So these aren't necessarily photos, but you can create little graphics. I use canva.com all the time. You can put a photo and then kind of overlay a review on it. So that's a way to kind of put more into your feed as well. You can share photos that are relevant to holidays and national days. We have a lot of weird national days like National Donut Day and National Ice Cream Day and other things that aren't food days. But there's also, so there may be some in there that really makes sense for you. I would totally post on National Coffee Day or National Dog Day. I'd share a photo of my dog, which I think I did actually. But kind of pay attention to some of those things and post photos that are relevant to that time. You can take videos of your product in action. Again, you can use Reels right now to do that. You can share Reels videos of how your products work, their function, special features. You can share kind of aesthetic brand videos. So think styled photos, but video basically. So with some movement in there. There's a lot of ways that you can incorporate video as well into your strategy. You can share a lifestyle of your product photos of your products in photos. So that would be photos of them being worn, being used, that kind of thing. You can share photos of your favorite tools. You can take a photo of your phone with your favorite playlist on that you're getting ready to work to. Share a photo of something that is quirky and unique to you. So there might be something that's really interesting about you that maybe not other people would be able to talk about, or something that's kind of cool that you think someone might find memorable, and you can share that as well. Okay, so Natalie said, should you get your customers' permission if the photo/reviews is already on another social media platform? It can't hurt. I mean, if someone said you can use this on Facebook and then you put it on Instagram, I highly doubt that it's going to be a problem. They're obviously okay with you sharing it publicly, but it couldn't hurt just to send them a quick message and just say, hey, can I also share this on Instagram? Just to cover your bases, but I don't foresee that really being a problem. Yeah. And yeah, so fine thread gloss said, my brand is full of color. I'll never have one single background. I'll never have one single background color, and I embrace it. So yeah, you can definitely shake it up. And I love that. So Marlene said, it looks great, but it's hard to keep the photos with the same background color like this one has. So yeah, kind of like So Fine Thread Gloss said, you don't, if color is your thing, embrace that. Have a colorful feed. It doesn't always have to be on a white background. You don't have to have just a white aesthetic or a dark aesthetic. You can have a colorful aesthetic. You can have 3, 4, 5 different colored backgrounds that you use alternatingly. One thing I like to do, because I sometimes share darker photos, is I try not to have 2 dark photos next to each other and the rest all be light. So I try to kind of break it up so it looks a little bit more, it doesn't look too kind of like heavily dark in one section, almost like if I could do like a chalkboard type look with it. Or not chalkboard, checkerboard. That's the one. So if you plan it out, you can have the photos kind of set to make a cool color aesthetic. So there's a lot of options. You don't have to stick with white. You can embrace color and have your feed aesthetic be colorful, and that can be really fun. Especially Marlene, because I know you sell children's products. So I feel like that would really be a good fit for your brand. So might be an opportunity to try some new fun stuff. All right. Whoops. All right, so here's the most important thing. You got a spoiler alert because I just accidentally went too many slides. The most important thing is to show up, and that means showing your face on your feed right here, and connecting with people so that they know who you are. Because if they don't, then you are missing that opportunity to have that connection with people online. You may find that you have, like, let's say you sell at craft markets and you have the same customers who come to the craft market and they buy something from you and they bought something for their nephew and now they're going to buy something for their, cousin's nephew or whatever, and so on and so forth. They're buying from you regularly. They know you because they see you. But if you're only selling online, you have to share photos of yourself. Or if that is a business that you are serious about growing and developing, you need to show photos of yourself. There should be at least one photo of you every 9 images. So when you're on Instagram and you're looking at somebody's account, and let's say you're on their profile, then you're going to see in full 9 photos, maybe more. Sometimes I guess it could also be 12. It depends on your thing, but you're going to see X amount of photos, and there should be at least one photo of you showing up in that view so that people, as they're scrolling, are seeing your face. They don't have to scroll for 20 minutes to see a photo of you that you posted 2 years ago. They want to see you. Show them your face. They don't care what you look like. They're not into all of your hangups about how, whatever you are, your body's not this way, you're not the right age, your hair's not the right color, whatever it is, you've got a scar on your face or acne or whatever your fears are. Customers super don't care. They just want to see your face and see who is behind this business. That's all they care about. So as a small business owner, connecting personally with customers is your biggest advantage. As an online small business owner, sharing photos of yourself is key. It is going to be crucial to develop those relationships that make small business successful and that give us that power over big business. So I know a lot of you, most of you, aren't sharing photos because of yourself because you either don't like how you look in photos, you don't know how to take a photo of yourself, or maybe both. You can go ahead and let me know in the comments which one of those is you, if you're A, B, or both. And I will check some questions here. No, I guess I'm all caught up with the questions. So A or B or both. Now, when I started doing this, I was A, because I knew how I could take a photo of myself as a photographer. Not to say that I'd done much self-portraiture, I'd done a tiny bit, but I knew how photography worked and I had a tripod, so I knew I could make that happen. Having a drink, but I didn't like how I looked in photos, and I didn't think that anyone would want to see me in photos because I didn't like how I looked in photos. Now, here's something that I discovered. And first of all, I'll say that I also today still don't look at photos of myself and think, oh, that looks great. Like, I don't love looking at myself in photos, but I post photos. I have photos of myself and I share them because it's important for people to see me. And I think it's important for me to show up exactly how I am without apology so that other people feel like they can do the same, because we all should do the same. We all should show up as who we are because it's who we are. And we need to no longer get hung up on all of these things that society has told us for years we should be ashamed about, because no one should tell us that we should hide in our businesses instead of be the face of them. Nobody should tell you that. You shouldn't feel that way because no one can do that except for you. You are the only person. And when people buy from small businesses, they buy from you. And they want to support you. So you have to show them you. So I see a lot of people who are saying both. We have Joe who's saying, love taking photos, but my family never take photos of me. Okay, so learning how to do it yourself. And it is tricky. It is for sure tricky because you don't want to just take like a selfie, it has to look a little bit more professional than that. So we're getting into kind of some more technological things that can be tricky. Now, this leads me to what I'm going to talk about at the end here, that I can help you with both of those things, being more comfortable in photos and taking those photos. So to kind of wrap up what I was saying before about seeing myself in photos, what I found was the more I did it, the more I took photos of myself, or the more I had photos of myself taken, the more I felt comfortable and the more natural I was able to be in front of a camera. And the more I started to build confidence in thinking, you know what, I'm not always happy with the way that I look, and I'm not happy with the way that I look in every photo, but some of these photos I really like, and those are the ones that I can share. like with confidence. So it's a matter of doing it and kind of ripping off that Band-Aid and shaking off that fear and just getting in front of the camera. And if a whole bunch of them you're just horrified by, you don't have to share those ones. You don't even, you can just delete them if you want. But if there's a few photos in there that you're like, hey, that actually doesn't look half bad, then all of a sudden you're starting to realize like, I can do this more. I think I can maybe do this more. And then all of a sudden you are in the habit of taking more photos of yourself. You're feeling more comfortable. You're sharing more. You're connecting more. You're growing more. And that is amazing. All right. So I can help you with both those things once this catches up. So next week I'm hosting a workshop. So for those of you who listen to this little mini training chat and you're kind of like fired up about the idea of including photos of yourself, but you're still super not comfortable / you're really not sure how, this is for you. So Shine is happening next week. And if anyone is listening who has taken Shine, feel free to raise your hand because I've put it on twice before. This is the third time and it has been amazing every time. And I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say maybe one of my favorite things that I've ever done, because seeing people take photos of themselves that they love is a weird, incredible gift that I never thought that I would have. It's very exciting. And I've had some very touching comments come from people who have taken the course and who feel better about themselves now that they can take a great photo of themselves. So in it, you'll learn how to pose, style yourself, find the best / most flattering light. You're going to actually learn how to take the photo. So how to like set up your camera and do the settings and make sure that it's focused right and all of that. And how to give it like a quick edit afterwards so that you look your best. So if you're wondering right now, first of all, you don't need to have a DSLR camera. You can use your smartphone to take the photo, and you can also use your smartphone to edit the photo. You can absolutely use a DSLR camera and like Photoshop or Lightroom on your computer if that's what you have. You don't have to have those things. So knowing how to show up in photos makes a really big difference in how you feel about seeing yourself in photos. So if you don't have this knowledge about how to pose or find the most flattering light or what your best angles are, or how to edit a photo so that you look the best, and I don't mean Photoshop the crap out of yourself. I just mean like a few tweaks so that you still look totally yourself, but maybe just improve the lighting a little bit here and there so that it looks better. Those things are what gives you confidence so that you can show up more. If you just keep if you just keep kind of hiding behind this idea that you hate how you look in photos, but you don't ever try to take photos that look better or to learn how to feel more comfortable and look more comfortable and natural in photos, then you'll never get there. It is a learning process. And again, the more you do it, the more confident you get. So Shine is all about kind of giving you the technical tools to make it happen, but also giving you the confidence and kind of that support to do it, as well as how to pose to look your best, what your best angles are, how to find that light that's going to be the most flattering, and so on and so forth. So like many things, it's about knowing how, it's about doing it, and it's about building up your confidence so that you can do it. All right, so Shine includes lifetime access to all video lessons, so you have it forever. You can take it whenever you want. You can retake it whenever you want. There is a PDF playbook that kind of like walks you through the steps and the editing steps, free to have PDF form, so you can take it kind of with you if you're going to take some photos or have it at your computer if you're editing and that kind of thing. And we have a private Instagram group chat this time around, which I'm really excited about. So that's where you can kind of post if you're feeling nervous, you're not really sure, if you have a question about your settings, or you took a photo and you want feedback, that kind of thing. I'll be there in a group with all of you to help you just really feel supported and like you can totally do this. So Shine is 40% off the regular registration price right now. It's only $99. It starts on Monday. It runs for 5 days. And honestly, I just really love putting this program on, and I love making it accessible to people. So for me, this is one of my kind of feel-good events that I get to do. Really love it. And I love what people do with it. And that is very exciting to me. Okay, so registration, if you're interested in learning more about it, or you do want to sign up for starting on Monday, you can go to amytakespictures.com/shine. Registration will close Sunday night. But if you aren't available next week, like you just have a lot going on, but you're really interested in the training, I probably will be putting it on again. So you could try another time, but it may be worth it to register now especially at this price, because I don't know how many times I'll be able to run it at this price. But if you want to register now, have the videos and jump into a future group. Like when I do the group chat, I have somebody from last Shine session joining this support group this time because she wasn't able to take it. So, I mean, those are some options as well. It's so much fun. And I would just love to see more people learning how to show up in photos for their business so they can get these connections and relationships with people, grow their Instagram, feel better about their online presence and their online business, and makes it feel more small business. It makes it feel more special. Like when you have a brick and mortar shop and your customers come in all the time, or you see people at a craft fair and you kind of have that relationship with them where you're like, hey, how are you? Haven't seen you in a long time. How are things going? And you're able to do that more. And it's really, really cool. Okay, so that's it for this, but thank you for being here, by the way, and also questions. So if you have any questions at all about either Shine or what we've talked about today, you can hit me with them right now. I'm going to be glancing over at my screen here with the comments so I can keep track. All right. Yes, Diana, I will likely be offering Shine again. I can't promise I will because my business is going through some really significant change right now, and there will be more to come on that next month. But I hope to, and I currently I plan to, but I don't know for sure because I don't know. It wouldn't be until next spring, and I just don't know what the future is going to hold for the business when that time comes. So I'm not sure, but I think so. Joe says, sounds great. Hope to join Shine. By the way, I'm really late to Instagram. Can anybody recommend a total beginner's crash course? I have a course. I have a course called Makers Rock IG that you may find helpful. It is on my website at amytakespictures.com/courses or /Makers Rock IG if you just want to go directly there. So absolutely check that out. It does not include Reels yet. And it is kind of your crash course. So I also don't go into the nitty gritty about like how to actually go on the app and post something. Like it's not really heavy on the actual technical aspect of using Instagram, but it's more about like strategy and things like that, and how you can use your feed and how you can use stories and how to use hashtags and that kind of thing. So that is available at amytakespictures.com/courses. Yeah. So if anybody has any other questions, I will hang out for a minute or two to see. I'm going to have a drink. All right. So yes, so there is until, if you're kind of on the fence, not really sure about Shine yet, it is open until Sunday. So just kind of stick around. If you're not already following me on Instagram, please do. I'm at amy.takes.pictures. I'll be posting about it there. You can DM me if you have any questions. And there will be, that's just a great way to kind of stay in touch and keep it in the front of your mind while you're making a decision. And if you're on my email list, I will send out one more email to remind people that it is happening. And then we're going to start the group and we're going to have so much fun. I guess I can stop sharing my screen now, can't I? Since I'm done with the presentation. Well, this was great, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. What a wonderful time. I think I'm going to do more of these live YouTube videos. I thought it was going to be a quick training. It ended up being an hour. That's not a surprise to me in the least because I tend to over deliver sometimes, but I really got excited as I was doing the presentation. I was more excited about all the ideas that were coming up and being able to share some examples and things. So it was worth it, I think, to be a little bit longer. And thanks everyone for coming and for sticking around for so long and for asking such insightful and interesting questions and for really giving this a thought and considering doing something brave by putting photos of yourself out there. I know it's not easy. It is scary, but it is doable. And it is a really exceptional opportunity to connect better with people online with your online business. All right, everybody. That's it. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And very much looking forward to seeing you on Instagram. If you post something or you have an idea or you want to share something with me, you know where to find me at amy.takes.pictures. listen, Amy Takes Pictures was taken and at Amy Eaton was taken. So it was the best I could do. All right. And that's where we're at right now. Okay. I'll see you all there, I hope. Thanks for tuning in and have a wonderful rest of the day.